Joining us now is Gloria Browne-Marshall. She's a professor of constitutional law at John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Professor, so we're seeing this DOJ investigation into the Minneapolis police. Washington State's governor recently signed some major legislation banning no-knock warrants and chokeholds. Is change happening, and is it coming soon enough?
It's happening, but it's not coming soon enough and it's not widespread enough. We need national criminal justice reform. America has 18,000 police departments, and each one of them has a prosecutorial decision made all the time in which police officers are not charged with crimes and police officers are working with prosecutors, and their hand-in-hand behavior means that the possibility of being charged is not going to happen. So even though politicians may make slight changes here and there, you have to have national criminal justice reform to actually make the change that's necessary in this country.
So because this all depends on local and state laws, there is no consistency across the country. Does that go to the Attorney General? How does this happen on a national level?
It happens through Congress. The same way we had national voting rights reform, we had civil rights reform in the 1964 Civil Rights Act. We need congressional legislation that includes the prosecutor's office, because at this point, even if you change the policing and you change the laws, but if the prosecutors fail to prosecute, which you see in almost 100% of the cases, then you're going to have the same situation with great laws on the book, but the failure of the prosecutors to actually do their jobs.
In the city of Atlanta, its department is down some 400 police officers. Many have left in recent months saying they don't feel supported. What about the law enforcement point of view, getting their support and giving them support? What needs to change there?
Well, if they don't want to be in policing, they shouldn't. I think it's a good thing. Because you can't support this type of corrupt and aberrant rogue behavior. You can't say that we're going to support people even when what they're doing is wrong. We know that this situation has to change, and we cannot keep taking the stance of the police department and putting them over our communities. These are government employees. You can't support government employees with our tax dollars when they're not doing their job sufficiently. And they should not kill people. Over 1,000 civilians die at the hands of police every year. And we cannot support that behavior. And if they want to have a tantrum and walk off of the job, then we need a different type of policing situation in this country and different people to do our policing.
And I want to get your opinion on what other people are concerned with right now. Many major cities in the U.S. are experiencing an uptick in crime. New York City shootings are up. Here in Washington, D.C., homicides are up 33% compared to this time last year. So talk to us about the challenges of trying to implement new reforms as police try to fight day of crime.
And it becomes an economic situation. We know in our history of this country, when there was poverty among the Irish, you had crimes among the Irish. You had poverty among the Italians, you had crimes among the Italians. This idea that the uptick in crime has to do with just people behaving badly. It has to do with the fact there aren't jobs for these young people. There aren't community centers. There aren't basketball and football teams. There aren't activities for them. And we know it's been a very difficult time over this last year for all of us. And you can imagine for the poor how difficult it is. So the police officers have to do their job, that's right. But we as a community must do our jobs as well. And that is to put resources into these needy communities to make sure that they have choices outside of dealing with crime as part of their day-to-day lives. We've got to put resources into these hard-hit communities and have jobs for them to go to and things for young people to play in sports that occupy their time so they're not joining gangs.
Professor Gloria Browne-Marshall, I'd love to continue this conversation with you. This is an ongoing issue. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.